Hey guys, welcome back to KK Story, the name I'm going to change eventually. I just don't know what yet. But how are you guys? It's a new year, 2024, new energy, new whatever. And new space, really just back in my dorm, starting school tomorrow, so that's always exciting. Well, by the time this video is uploaded, I would have already started school. So as you've seen by this video, we are going to talk about self-doubt is a part of the journey, which is what? What do you mean by that, girl? Okay, so I always like to give my disclaimer. This is a safe space. There is no judgment. And the reason I say that is because we're human and we make mistakes and we're not perfect. So that's the great thing about life. You don't have to be perfect, so take what resonates and leaves what doesn't. So self-doubt is a part of the journey. Now, this is weird because, usually when you're thinking negative, that doesn't help you on your journey. And it's a double-edged sword. So what I mean by this is when you start doing new things or when you start creating all these new environments, your brain starts to pick with you. Your ego starts to pick with you because your brain is so used to the environment. As humans, we love predictability and we love outcome. But when you try something new, your brain is like, what the fuck? Your brain is like, girl, what are you doing? And when you think about leaving that new job or starting this new relationship or doing content, whatever you want to do, your brain starts to say, oh, I can't afford that. I can't do this. I can't because of my circumstances, or you're not going to do much. You're not going to do very well in that. And my answer to that is fear drives faith. Listen to me again. Fear drives faith. When we have inner critic tell us that we can't, it's really because your brain doesn't have any predictability and it doesn't know its outcome. So your brain is obviously going to be scared, not really understand what's going on. And that's why self-doubt comes in. And you have a lot of inner childhood issues where people tell you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. And the only reason they tell you that is because they weren't successful themselves. For example, me. I'm 20 years old. Just turned 20 a couple weeks ago. And I create positive content. I have a TikTok where I'm more often, more consistent on there. But every time I make a video, I'm always so doubtful. Because I'm like, oh, no one wants to hear this, or no, I don't know if this is gonna mean anything. And that's because I'm starting to be more consistent and starting to really follow my dreams. And that is something that was really hard for me to do over the years. Like, I wanted to do YouTube consistently and content creation since I was in the 3rd grade. Even before content creation was a thing, I always just knew I wanted to make videos. But I would start and stop, because I was starting to create a new path for myself, but I was just really scared because just all the self-doubt. I was a really academic child in school. I made almost all A's all the time. I was in every damn thing. And when you're trying to go more of a creative route, it's really hard to break that. So that's why I have had self-doubt. Sometimes you get really angry at yourself where you're just like, oh no, it won't work out. And that can cause a lot, and it can keep you from really pursuing what you want to do. And that would happen to me for years. So I say it's a part of the journey because usually self-doubt and that inner critic really comes when you are doing something new. And be okay with that energy, because let me tell you, all the successful people in the world, you think about what, maybe Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, or you think about, I don't know, presidents, or you think about all the CEOs and Amazon, like you think about all these big companies and these big people. I without a doubt believe they all had self-doubt. The difference between them and people that don't accomplish your dreams is that they do it anyways, even when you're afraid. That's how you gain confidence, and that's how you gain faith. Because faith is about believing without knowing. And it is scary, I'm not gonna lie, it's scary. Every time I create a video, I'm like, ooh, girl. But it's all worth it in the end, because another thing is we're so tied up to outcome. The outcome doesn't usually matter, because let me tell you about us humans. When the outcome happens, what we do, we hit a goal, we just find another goal. We just find another goal. And then when we don't hit the outcome, we give up. And in some situations, giving up is not the worst idea, but that's what it means to have faith. Fear drives faith. Because when you're scared and you're doing it anyways, you're putting faith in God. You're putting faith in whatever you're doing, if it works out or not. At the end of the day, it's a blessing or it's a lesson. That's how I think of it. Because just because you put all your energy and time and stuff, I didn't realize you still may not be successful. You still may not get that relationship. You still may not get where you want to be, like you thought of. But one thing I believe is God's plan is always bigger than yours. Just because you don't see it now, God sees everything from birth into death, if you're religious or spiritual. But yeah, so my message to you today is do it anyways, because you're gonna have self-doubt, you're gonna have fear. You're gonna have people tell you that what you're doing is stupid. I've been told so many times, because one of the things I want to do is directing and producing. People have told me that how will I make money? Or they'll tell me, oh, that's not gonna last. Or they told me, oh, you're too positive. And I'm like, what? The too positive comment is crazy to me. And actually, I used to be like, I've always been positive, but I used to be really pessimistic. But that was because I was listening to people. So all I'm saying is, yeah, literally do it anyways. Because sooner or later, you gotta do the work. Regardless of how pessimistic or optimistic you are, you have to do the work. Self-doubt is really telling you that you're going in the right direction, but I'm just scared because I don't know the outcome. And that's okay. I'm not saying you have to do this big major thing. Like, let's just say you're trying to quit a job. You don't want to do a job anymore. Okay, cool. For example, you have 2 kids. You work 2 jobs. And you're a single parent. Obviously, your circumstances are different. That's another thing. Your circumstances are different from what's going on. So you could think like this. Okay, what are small steps that you could do to get to that? And maybe your dream is being maybe a freelance photographer. Take pictures of people you know, and then maybe start posting on Instagram, or maybe after your job or in between jobs, start doing that. Start maybe an hour a day, start learning like small stuff, because small things end up to big things. And as much as it's crazy, it's true. Certain things that I have done small over the years, they have manifested because I just worked on it constantly. So you don't have to just leave. Eventually you want to quit your job, but you don't have to just be like, oh, well, obviously you have 2 kids, and like obviously your circumstances are different. So maybe you could be like, oh, maybe I may turn down this job a little bit. Maybe I'll start saving a little, like start thinking about ways. Maybe I could try to find a job that kind of, it's just one and benefits me with the 2 jobs. So I could just, after work, I could do this photography thing. And then you start building these small steps. And then you're a freelance photographer and you're working for Beyonce. So reminders. You're human and you're gonna make mistakes. That's a part of the process. You're not always going to hit your goals, and that's okay. You're human. You're not always going to make the shots. All these famous basketball players, they don't make the shot every time. It's about practicing and being consistent. That is the main thing. Even if it's just 5, let's just say you wanna get better at reading. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day reading a book, that's better than not doing anything at all. Or you're gonna start going to the gym. Maybe just do 10 minutes on the treadmill, and then you start building up that endurance. Because if you just give up everything now and just be like, I'm not gonna do it. Or you give up everything and you're like, oh, well, I'm just gonna change my whole lifestyle. Give your mind time, especially if you got anxiety and all. Girl, from experience, don't do that. That's not healthy. Some people it works. Their impulsive decisions really make something. But cater to your life. Your life is different from everyone else's. So in the end, that self-doubt is really just telling you, have faith. The journey is about the journey, because the destination, all you're gonna do is keep hitting the next destination. But you're gonna be on a lifelong journey. So just enjoy. Life is in your hands. But thank you guys for listening, and that's all I had to talk to you about today. And hopefully, you get something from it.